So next topic is child in need of care and protection and child in conflict with law. I have already told you under the Juvenile Justice Act there are two types of child. First, the child in need of care and protection, and second, the child in conflict with law. So the Juvenile Justice Act aims to provide care, protection, rehabilitation and social reintegration, please underline, for the children who are either in conflict with law or in need of care and protection. So the Act distinguishes between the two categories of children, recognizing that each group has a specific need and require distinct approaches for their welfare and rehabilitation. Now, while the law provides an inclusive framework for both the types of children, the JJ Act lays down different provisions, institutional mechanism, procedural safeguards, depending on whether the child is in conflict with law or in need of care and protection. Now definition. So child in conflict with law. So a child in conflict with law is defined as a child who has been accused of committing an offence. Please underline. Who has been accused of committing an offence. So such children are typically involved in the activities that are illegal under Indian Penal Code or any other specific laws. However, the approach of Juvenile Justice Act is distinct. It treats the child as someone in the need of rehabilitation and not punishment, because see, the child behavior can easily be reformed and they can be transformed into a law abiding citizen. So the act focuses on the best interest of the child, offers protection, rehabilitation and reformation rather than subjecting the child to punitive measures. So children in conflict with law may face legal proceedings before the Juvenile Justice Board, not a court. Okay, so all the proceedings will be carried on under Juvenile Justice Board, a specialized judicial body that handles cases involving children in conflict with law. Now, child in need for care and protection. So child in need for care or protection is someone, please underline, who is vulnerable or is in difficult circumstances requiring care and attention but not necessarily having committed an offence. So they are not the children who have committed any offence, but they are any children who is abandoned, who is on roads, no one is there to look after them, all those kinds of child. So the circumstances of their lives make them incapable of being cared by the families or their guardian, and they require immediate intervention and care. So under the JJ Act, children in need of care and protection are dealt by the Children Welfare Committee, please underline, which are tasked with asserting the child's situation, making decisions regarding the care and ensuring their protection. Now what are the distinction between the two? So first is legal status, accused of committing an offence, not involved in any crime but in a vulnerable condition. Now key focus is rehabilitation, reformation and education. Here the key feature is care, protection and emotional well-being. Legal procedure, it is handled by JJ Board, that is Juvenile Justice Board. It is handled by Child Welfare Committee. Now what are the possible actions? Counseling, education, vocational training or placement in juvenile homes. Here adoption, foster care, placement in children's home. Now what are the criteria? First criteria is children in conflict with law. Second, children in need of care and protection. Example, a child involved in theft, assault or drug related offences. A child who is abandoned and living on street or is being abused. Okay. Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. So under the Juvenile Justice Act, children in conflict with law are provided rehabilitative, non-punitive approach. The primary concern is to ensure that the children are treated in a manner consistent with their dignity, right and principles of child justice. Now what are the key features of CCL? CCL, please tell me the full form of CCL. Hello? Hello?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me the full form of CCL.
CCL. children in conflict with law.
Yeah. Now, Juvenile Justice Board. So the JJ Board is a specialized body to hear the cases of children in conflict with law. It consists of principal magistrate and 2 other social worker, one of whom must be a woman. The board is empowered to decide on the course of action for the child, including the rehabilitation and social integration, then assessment of the child. So the JJ Board also evaluates the underlying child's age, mental health, background, circumstances of the offence. A key focus is on the child's mental maturity to understand the consequences of their action. Now, age determination. This is very important factor. So if there is an uncertainty about the child's age, the JJ Board may order the medical examination of the child to determine the exact age. So this is very crucial, since children below the age of 18 years are provided special care and protection under the law. Only the persons who are below the age of 18 years will be considered as child, and they will be kept under this juvenile homes. Now, disposal of cases. So depending upon the offence, the JJ Board will rehabilitate the child through educational program, vocational training and counseling, place the child in juvenile homes or observation homes for protection. In case of heinous crimes, for example, if the punishment is 7 or more years, the JJ Board can assess whether the child should be treated as an adult or whether he should be treated as a child. Now, rehabilitation over punishment. So the focus is to provide rehabilitation through education, skill development and psychological counseling, rather than focusing on the punishment. In case of serious offences, efforts are still made to rehabilitate the child rather than subjecting them to adult criminal procedure. So most of the time they just try to rehabilitate. They try to make the children again enter into the society by vocational training, education, all this. Okay. Now, legal framework of child in need of care and protection. So a child in need of care and protection does not necessarily come into contact with the law, but requires state intervention for their care and protection due to their neglect, abuse and abandonment or exploitation. So we will look into what are the key features. First is Child Welfare Committee. So CWC is responsible for determining the need of children in need of care and protection. So this committee consists of, please underline, a chairperson and 4 other members, including a women and children welfare expert. Now, identification of the needs. So the CWC evaluates the child's situation and decides appropriate action. This could include placing the child in the children homes, arranging foster care and providing adoption mechanism. Now, protection and rehabilitation. So children in need of care may be placed in child care institution that provide them shelter, education and health care. So in some cases, the CWC may also facilitate the child's adoption or place in foster care to provide them with a family environment. Okay. Now, best interest principle. So the primary consideration of this is to work for the best interest of the child. Deciding regarding foster care or adoption are made with the goal of securing a stable, loving and safe environment for the child. Now, the CWC seeks to reunite children with their families when the family circumstances improve or when the child's safety is guaranteed. The focus is on reuniting the child with their biological family or placing them in a suitable foster family if needed. Aftercare. So post rehabilitation services are also provided to ensure that the child is reintegrated into the society and family. If applicable, aftercare services may include counseling, continued education and vocational training. Now, what is the procedure and institutional mechanism? So Juvenile Justice Board. A Juvenile Justice Board is an important forum for handling the legal handling of children in conflict with law. There are specialized procedures that are to be followed in accordance with the child principles. Age determination and mental health evaluation are done if needed. Children are protected from the stigma and harass realities of adult criminal courts. Then Child Welfare Committee. The Child Welfare Committee deals with the child in need of care and protection. The committee takes care of the protection and rehabilitation of the children who are abandoned, abused or neglected, can reunite the child with the families or provide foster or adoption, ensures that the children are provided with the appropriate legal and social support to lead a dignified life. Now rehabilitation and reintegration in both the cases. So the main focus in both the cases is rehabilitation and reintegration into the society.